What is going on, ladies and gentlemen of the tribe, and welcome back to another Galaxy of Heroes video. That's right, with me, your Bull Boy Scribe. Welcome once again to 2026. CG still are not, and yet in the office just as of this occasion. I believe they're probably starting to wind into work just a little bit now. Bear with me while I log into my main account whilst discussing this with you. Sometimes having multiple accounts means you got to log in and out of these accounts, and then you forget which one you're in, and you're just getting all kinds of confused. That's right, and that's what we're here to talk about. No, it's not actually. We're not talking about logging in between accounts. I just wanted to bring up something that I thought was kind of interesting. It's kind of like a yin and yang situation that's going to be coming on. As you know, well, probably actually by the time you watch this video, Conquest has just ended. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen, you've got yourself the Stranger. No, I'm not talking about that thing where you sit on your hand for 5 minutes, guys. Get your mind out of the gutter. I'm talking about Khmer. And it just occurred to me, ladies and gentlemen, Khmer over here, I'll be taking him Relic 8, Relic 9, something like that. I haven't decided yet. We'll see. We'll see in the near future. But anyway, it occurred to me that with Khmer coming into the game, it means we should be seeing the next set of Conquest feats very, very shortly. And it raised an interesting question for me, because the feats for Conquest are usually pretty regular. If we were to go into a sector, for example, and we would check out what are the feats required for this sector, you would see stuff like win 10 battles with Brutus surviving, which is fine, right? And then you check out the end boss. Actually, these ones are a little bit different because these boss nodes over here are mostly based on historic squads. But you see stuff like win with Kicks in your squad, win with Jocasta Nu in your squad. All right, let's go to another section. You know, the meaning will come clear in a second, right? Win 10 battles with Captain Silvo and Vayne surviving. This will be more weird feats. This one over here will not. Win with Jedi Master Mace Windu. Win with a full squad of pirates. You've seen there's loads of these that I didn't do because you just, quite frankly, you don't need to do it to get your red box, so why try harder, am I right? And so on and so forth. Now, the common thread that ties these things together, of course, things like pirates and things like the new Jedi Vanguard faction, is that they are new units. They are latest Conquest units. They are new legendary units. Why is that important for this next one? Well, I'm glad you asked, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to tell you why. It's because this era, as you know, still has a month left in it. More or less a month, right? So a week tomorrow, we will be getting Inquisitor Barriss. 2 weeks after that, we will get Darth Vader Duel's End, and then a week after Darth Vader Duel's End finishes, we will be at the end of the era of the anniversary. At that point, these characters will all go into the legacy roster. The problem is that in 2 weeks' time, we will be getting the new Conquest. So what does that mean about the feats that we're going to be getting? It means that feats requiring IG-90, Yoda and Chewie, Asajj Ventress, Stormtrooper Luke, Inquisitor Barriss, Darth Vader's Duel's End shouldn't exist, because they won't be in the legacy roster until after the end of the first Conquest that we get. Which in turn means that usually, because the feats don't change, every 3 months, every Conquest unit is a standalone, hey, you've got the same Conquest feats for 3 months until this character is unlocked, and you won't change from that. Unless there's a bug or something like that, and then they'll sometimes change a feat. But that's like an uncommon occurrence. That is an exception rather than the rule. However, there is a slight difference, and this could be a good or a bad thing, right? Because in the good side of things, it means that you don't have to worry about getting the latest and greatest characters up to Relic 5 or so in order to actually push through and get these feats done. The other side of it is almost everybody should have them at Gear 12 minimum to make those feats a little bit easier to obtain. The other side of it, though, the flip side of the coin, is that we actually can get Maul before the next Conquest ends. We are going to get Maul available in 1 week and 1 day. Granted, he will only be available at a maximum, I believe, of 5 stars. I think for the 6 stars and 7 stars, we still need Darth Vader's Duel's End. I should probably check that, though. yeah, you can get 4-star, you can get 5-star, but 6 stars and 7 stars are only available with Darth Vader Duel's End release. So you'll be able to get them at 4 stars and 5 stars. The new Maul, it still irritates me that we can't actually see his unit in the game. I can't click on anything for him. Sure, we've got like the journey guide that, you know, I have nothing left in the journey guide to get apart from Maul, and he's not even available right now. But anyway, this guy will be available in our roster essentially in 1 week's time, which is a week before the next Conquest starts anyway. So theoretically, the next set of Conquest feats could include stuff for Maul Hate Fueled. Now, my concern is here, and I know I'm throwing probably tinfoil hat conspiracy theories at you here. My concern is here is that if CG, in CG's mind, if they're thinking, wait a minute, we have made Maul or new legendary releases far more accessible to people now because you can get them at 4 stars and 5 stars. You know, that's super easy. Before it was like 7-star unlocks or you wait 3 to 6 months, right? This time, I think it's going to be a lot of people will get 4-star unlocks. Some people might even get 5-star unlocks, right? And then the rest of us are going to have to wait 9 to 12 months to get the full unlock if you don't do it in the era. I've gone over this before. I'm still pretty certain that CG is going to cripple us when it comes to how long they're going to make us to wait for Maul's event to come back. And I'll point back to this now. So this is why I think it's going to be longer. I've gone over this in previous videos, but obviously not everybody will have watched or remembered everything that I've said. And let's be real, I do tend to waffle a lot. I do tend to talk a lot. It's kind of my job as a YouTuber, I think. Anyway, a significant amount of time after the era, the journey guide will become a legacy event, but it will have different requirements as the marquees will no longer be era units. Now, to me, a significant amount of time after the end of the era means 9 months plus, okay? Normal cadence for a legendary release that we would normally get before this era system came into play would be, you know, the end of the era happens and then 3 months later the unit comes back for a short term. It might be like there for a week. It might be there for a weekend. Then it'll be another 3 months and it'll come back again. So if it was going to come back in 3 months' time, if Maul Hate Fueled was going to come back in 3 months' time, they would just say it would go into regular legendary cadence releases. You know, it'll come back occasionally, 3 times, 4 times a year, and then it'll go permanently into the journey guide. This makes it sound like it's going to be much later. A significant amount of time is minimum 6 months, in my opinion. Now, I could be completely wrong. I'm just guessing. I'm reading the tea leaves here, but this makes sense to me. Now, if you pair that with the fact that we can't use our era characters to get feats, but we could theoretically use Maul to get these feats done in Conquest, and that, in CG's mind, Maul is more accessible now, is there a chance that we're actually going to see some Conquest feats for Maul, like, but on the very heavy side? So, as we were going through over here, we saw in every sector, there are stuff for pirates and Jocasta the New and all that sort of business. Now, I fully expect us to have feats for Stranger, right? I fully expect there to be feats for Stranger. But look, we've got 1 feat over here. So, this one, Sector 1, winning with Brutus. Is this going to be win 10 battles with Maul Hate Fueled surviving? And then mid-sector feat might have something along the lines of win with Stranger in your squad. And then over here, are we going to have some other thing of another feat that requires Maul? And then as you go to Sector 2, once again, because we've got more feats here that require pirates that released in that era content, are they going to go, oh, win 10 battles with Maul Hate Fueled surviving? Again, is it going to get that crazy? I would like to hope that it isn't, but I have a few concerns that CG are going to put up, simply because they can't use the new era units. Are they going to do that and really ram it down our throats of, you really wish you would have wailed and got yourself a 7-star Maul Hate Fueled, because now Conquest feats are going to be a little bit of a pain in the bum for you. Or you're going to have to constantly spend money on getting those back to tanks to refill your stamina and stuff like that. And are we also going to see even more feats that require the Stranger? Now, I still think we will see feats that require things like pirates, things like Jedi Master Mace Windu, things like dark side clones and stuff like that. I fully expect us to still see sort of like the more recent marquees being requirements for feats throughout Conquest. My only concern is that they're going to be very heavily skewed in favor of Maul Hate-Fueled as the latest legendary unit and the Stranger as the last Conquest unit, simply because they don't have access to the other ones. Now, if it were me, I would actually like CG to take a leaf out of a new book here. And instead of just trying to rely on having a triplet of Conquest units where the feats all stay the same, perhaps for the first one the feats are like that, or maybe, maybe not quite as punitive, but from Conquest 2 and Conquest 3, when we actually have our Era Journey units move into the Legacy section of our roster, start to implement feats that require IG-90, that require Yoda and Chewbacca. Maybe they require the Distract feat, or maybe they require the Disciple feat, or maybe they require, whatever it happens to be. Right? The teams that these units go for. Maybe they'll have win with the full team of Wookiee 10 times. Maybe they'll have win with Afra. Maybe they'll have win with Boba Fett, Scion of Django. That sort of thing. I don't know how they're actually going to play it, but it occurred to me this morning when I was just thinking about the fact that we are going to be in a new Conquest very, very shortly, and that we just can't use any of these teams, which would normally form the cornerstone of many of the feats. Now, I'm not trying to fearmonger here. I'm just trying to put out some thoughts of mine more than anything else, I guess. What are your thoughts? Ladies and gentlemen of the tribe at home, what are your thoughts? Are we going to get a little bit unlucky with this first set of Conquest feats? Do you think that CG should change the Conquest feats after these units become legacy units instead of just giving us a standard set for 3 months like they normally do? Now, granted, that does mean it's more work for CG on their side, but hey, they've just made an absolute killing on the Era system here with the Era leveling and Colosseum and all that good business. Who knows? Oh, here's one other little thing. I was digging through some of the data mine stuff, and I did manage to find something quite interesting that isn't actually in the game and does relate to Conquest as well. So I found this in the data mines, and I thought it was very, very interesting. So this looks to be a new tier of data disk that would be available in Conquest. It is gold, it's got additional dots. Normally when we go through these Conquest data disks, they kind of stop at purple, I believe, which is the epic one. Is this going to be some like relic data disk or something like that? A new tier of data disk that's going to make things even easier? If there's any time that we're going to see something like this come to the game, I would have to think that it is when we have this first set of era changes. We are currently in the stage of the game where everything is sort of changing and mixing up. So maybe we're getting a new type of data disk as well. Who knows? It's all in the game at the moment. The assets are loaded into the game. Who knows where it could lead? Anyway, that's enough me waffling about nothing really. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Please give this video a like, and I will see you beautiful people in the very next video. Peace out, and may the Force be with you.